Good morning, you bad, beautiful bitches, you. The guest on today's episode, I have so much love and respect for. It's damn near inappropriate, all right? We're talking to a guy that struggled with addiction, all right? Dropped out of 9th grade and is well on his way to becoming a billionaire with a B, baby. Talk about living life with no limits. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Eric Spofford to the show. 2013, I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I was working at the workout club front desk.
Yeah, I remember.
And I would see this Abrams tank walk in every day. Sir, do you mind scanning in for me? We're done. and at the time, too, because this is 2011, 2012, 2013-ish in there.
Yeah.
And then
Working on heavy back then.
Yeah. And you'd come in, and then no joke, a decade later, this is probably 8 months ago to a year ago, you pop up on my TikTok. I'm like all in on all things TikTok.
Yeah.
And so Colin and I were born and raised in Salem.
Yeah.
And then grew up, went through like the whole Wyndham School District and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm telling Colin, I was like, there's this neighborhood. Because I live in the North End now in Boston.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll still go up. My girlfriend and I will drive up and we'll go and we'll drive through this neighborhood in Wyndham. And it's this just baller neighborhood. No joke. This is how weird the universe is. We're on the couch back in the North End. Your video pops up. You're like, I used to take I think it was a Honda, and drive from Nashua to what I believe is that same neighborhood. And I got goosebumps. I was like,
Iron Gate, yeah.
Yeah.
Volvo.
Yeah. Volvo.
The Volvo.
Yeah.
And that's what
1988 Volvo,
Yeah.
280,000 miles on the odometer,
Yeah.
which did not work when I bought it.
Yeah.
$400, yeah.
Oh, man.
That's because I was like,
Yeah,
this is.
yeah, man. It's crazy, right?
It's unbelievable. And then I was like telling Ashley, my girlfriend, was like born and raised East Boston, just like
Hardcore.
thug. Yeah, exactly. She's and I was like, I saw this guy every freaking day, like a decade ago, and then here he pops up 10 years later.
It's nuts.
On just this like.
It's crazy, right?
Today's,
It's wild.
yeah. I'm seeing you in 2011, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
That's you're coming out of, you're going into sobriety at that time. Is that right?
No, dude, this is it's you see people talk about it all the time, about like success and all that stuff, and like overnight, like, bro, at that time I'm hand-to-hand combating this thing every day. I got sober in 2006.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, then December 7th of 2006, and so in a couple weeks here, that'll be 16 years of sobriety and recovery for me. Started.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, dude. When I was 15 years old, I was like, I'm never going to live past 21, let alone stay sober, let alone have this crazy life.
Right,
It's all just kind of like surreal. But, and so at that time, I opened the state of New Hampshire's first sober house in 2008. Saved up money working construction, nights and weekends, bought a modest little 3-family building in Derry, and moved in there and lived there from 2008 to 2010 with 11 guys. And so by 2011, I had moved out. I was growing that business. I had my son in 2011, so I had a young baby.
Wow. Yeah.
And which I ended up being a single dad too. So I was raising a kid by myself,
Yep.
building an addiction treatment business, working out, just chopping wood, carrying water.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I try to talk about that now.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, like, dude, nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's been a long fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You talked about that in the Lions Den speaking series.
Yeah.
You talked about when you did that day you did get sober. You said, I've noticed a change. I'm moving now. Like I'm moving. I'm keeping going fast. But yeah.
That's wild.
That is inspirational, though. What about the mental toughness behind you doing that? Because I actually have people in my life that I know that are struggling with addiction, and it's the mental toughness to actually, it's one thing to say, like, I'm going to get sober, you know what I mean, then 1 day, then 2 days, but to keep that going and actually, succeed in business, everything outside of just getting sober, like that mental toughness that you had to get out of that. If you could just walk us through that, because I feel like that's a big part of the people that I know that are struggling with it, is in your own head, not being able to get out of that bubble that you trapped yourself in.
It's, For sure.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, it was, I don't really have a choice.
Right.
My choices are this. I'm either going to find a way to stay sober, or in short order, I'm going to die or be in prison.
Right.
And that was absolutely true for me, dude. I got sober, I was 135 pounds. I'd been an IV drug user for 6.5 years, which is like a fucking eternity when you're shooting dope and coke.
Right.
I'd been in a lot of legal trouble, and I got sober on the run for armed robbery. And so it was, in the beginning, like, we wouldn't call it mental toughness. It was like desperation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, over time, I think mental toughness is a muscle that we build. It's very similar to building callus. If you work out or you work with your hands, you build callus, and it toughens your skin for the next time you're up against something.
Right.
When you build muscle, you work out. What's the science behind that? We rip our muscle, we destroy it, and it rebuilds. If you don't fuck your hands up, if you don't rip your muscle and rebuild, you don't get stronger and you don't build the callus. And so I think that analogy is really crosswalks to my experience, that since I was a little kid to today at 37 years old, it's been adversity after adversity after adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Those things have run parallel to success for me. People see, oh, look at the business and the house and the car and all that stuff. But, you know, what doesn't make it onto Instagram is this adversity and that adversity and that adversity.
Yep.
And so as you get up against the next fight, the next battle, stuff that I handle today, like it doesn't even bleep on my radar, would have crushed me 15 years ago.
Right.
I would have had debilitating anxiety.
Yeah.
I would have been laying in bed at night like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's just real.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, you know, it's just you grow in toughness. You build that muscle.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm such a proponent for, like, I talk about it all the time, like adversity. Like, I don't actually see it as a bad thing.
Right.
Right.
Like, I'm grateful for the adversity. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine my life if I wasn't an addict, if I wasn't on the street, if I
Yeah.
didn't go through all this stuff. You know, who knows what it would have looked like. But for me, in my story, like, I'm grateful for every ounce of pain.
Right. Building that callus up.
Building that callus.
You've helped me a lot as a business owner, because, like, 9 months ago, if I lost or if I was about to lose a client, I'd be in bed like, fuck. But I saw a reel of you, like, you love, you know, keep failing. I think the reel is literally titled Fail, 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 because you get stronger from that, you learn from that. And I love, you know, potentially losing now, because I'm going to learn from that experience, and you grow from it and never happens again. The callus is a great analogy, because you just keep getting stronger. And, yeah.
We were talking with Laura before this too, how social media is such a noisy space.
Yeah.
And everyone has this story to tell. And for probably 85% of people, that's all. It's just airy story that's half truth, half made up. But to find something I love about your content is finding the guy who's been through the trenches.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's almost like you tell it from a decentralized command, like, hey, this is what's happening on the front line. I'm a massive, like, Jocko fan, so I can slip in that and dichotomy of leadership. Am I right? It's amazing.
It was one of the deciding factors about building a personal brand and deploying content and telling my story, which I've always told publicly. But there's a difference between speaking in front of a crowd and putting it on the internet every day.
Right.
Which is there's a ton of fake out there.
Yeah.
So much
fake, and you know, I'm a lot of things. Fake isn't one of them.
Right.
I've been never been accused of that.
Yeah.
Keep it to real. And then B is there's just a lot of bad advice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's just a lot of fake, bad, artificial advice.
Right.
Like, if you haven't been through it, like, you probably shouldn't teach it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Type of thing.
100%. What do you have? Something I love about your content too is, especially in today's market, nowadays you got the NFT gurus, which 6 months ago they were the cannabis. Yeah. Which I've been seeing that. I'm like,
where are you guys with your pictures of your fucking monkeys? My followers are like, pew!
That's the one. I saw that. I was in tears. I was like, yes. I was like, fucking Eric. Let's go. Not the same way.
That is the same way.
What would be someone in today's market who hypothetically is just starting out with maybe 100, 150,000 liquid? What would be your advice to scale that money? What would you do with it? Obviously
I think
not
that, I mean, not new news to anyone. We're in a recession.
Yeah.
The environment has changed. All these, you know, I don't know, 9 months ago, the world looked a lot different, right?
Yeah.
9 months ago was put it in NFTs, put it in crypto,
Yeah.
you can't lose, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, how much of that dries up and just goes away, and it starts to separate the real from the fake. That's what happens in a recessionary market environment.
Yeah.
And so when you from a high level thesis on when we look at business in a recessionary market, you have to separate what's a need and what's a want.
Right.
Those are the things that I look at: is what's a need and what's a want, right? Like, why is Airbnb taking a beating right now?
Mm-hmm.
All these people are out there buying and renting these big units and putting them on Airbnb and laughing about how much money they make, and then things changed overnight.
Yeah.
You don't hear about those people too much either anymore,
Right.
right? Because vacations are a want,
Yeah.
right? And so when things start to get tight, people go, maybe we'll hold off on that trip to Miami.
Right.
Let's see how the next year goes. Let's wait to take the kids to Fort Lauderdale or Disney or whatever it is. And so I'm all in on things that are needs. For me, it's real estate and healthcare services. If someone had, 150 grand sitting around liquid, I'm all in on real estate and cash flow.
Yep.
And so I really like just what I'm doing right now is affordable housing in areas of the country that are, one, landlord friendly, and two, have a business climate that's available. Like right now, my average cost per acquisition on a home is $72,000.
Wow.
In the Midwest.
Wow.
And I'm renting those.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so let's do some math, right? If we take $72,000 average cost per acquisition, that means I'm into each house for $21,600. If I have $150,000 divided by $21,600, I'm in for about 7 houses.
Yep.
Wow.
Man.
Let's go.
And so using leverage, and so I'm getting 7 houses. I'm going to average about $500 a month free cash flow for those. So now I've created an inexhaustible river of cash flow income that I'm going to get $3,500 a month, which, for someone with 150 grand to pick up, what's that, 42 grand a year? Right. But now you have tax benefits because you're going to take bonus depreciation on the real estate. That's passive income. That's meaningful. Right. And then you could start to leverage that into more and more and more.
Right. I love that. That's sweet.
I'm in if you guys are.
I'm in. Well, I like how you watch some guys and it's like you got to invest in your own market.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Eric. Not scared to go out.
When you look at that, if you're clearing $3,500 a month on that, it's every 6.17 months you're adding a house.
Right.
And so if you can leave the money and let it roll. Right. You're getting back up to that $21,000 mark, and you're purchasing another house.
Right.
Now, once that's operational, you're $4,000 a month.
Right.
And you get there a lot faster. $4,000 a month is going to bring your time horizon to repopulate your equity dollars.
Yep. Yeah, that was this was
writing all this down.
That was a selfish question for me. You guys got that right? That was a very selfish question for me. Hypothetically, if a friend had perfect. That is
just creating the cash flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Creating the cash flow.
Yeah. When did you know? Like I feel like there's at least my mindset is always I have an abundancy mindset. Like I'm full of endless energy and happiness and glass. I could my whole life would be on fire and I'd still be glass half full. When did you know though you were almost saved, if you will, from I'm not going down that old path I was back in the Nashua days. I'm on this path, this trajectory for the Ironwoods of the world and the Miami house, and you were like, I'm set. There's zero chance I'm I'm going back to, my old life? Or is it a bunch of moments?
It's a bunch of moments.
Yeah.
That's a broad question. The day I got sober, the day I committed to recovery and sobriety was the first day that's my sobriety date. So
Yep.
first day I achieved sobriety, December 7th, 2006. I had a strong feeling that I'd never had before, despite fucking 100 tried and failed attempts, of I'm done.
Yep.
I'm never doing that again. No matter what.
Right.
I'm never, it doesn't matter what happens in the world.
Right.
No reservations. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
That's a lot different from I'm moving to Iron Gate and Miami and, and all of that.
Right.
And so the truth is, I know that I'm never going to use drugs or drink again.
Yeah.
It's been 16 years almost.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Long time.
Yeah.
Right? I have a beautiful life. I've become the man that I'm supposed to be, right? Not for everybody, but for me and some. The success stuff, what's funny, dude, is like when I got sober, I didn't have money for food, legitimately. Like I had 2 pairs of clothes and a half a trash bag.
Wow. And you're in Nashua at the time?
I was in Portland, Maine, December 6th, and I woke up the morning I got sober and moved from Portland, Maine to Nashua.
Gotcha.
Because I got in trouble in Maine. And so I got sober in Nashua. And now I have plenty of money for food and plenty of other money for other shit, and I still wake up and I feel broke every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wake up every morning and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
What are we doing today?
Yeah.
We gotta work. We gotta go.
I feel that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And so
yeah.
I don't, for a recent revelation, after I had the liquidity event, I sold the business last year.
Congrats on that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And I had like all this dough, and like the next day I woke up and felt exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I think I'm gonna feel like this for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? I don't know if this ever changes. Yeah.
I feel that with content. Like I'll have a video pop, and the next morning I'm like, as if I haven't done a damn thing,
Yeah.
Dude, I've been thinking,
it's
It
weird.
is weird.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been thinking about that a lot. Like originally when we started the business, it was all to, one day maybe sell it. And now that we're just fucking in it, like even if that day does come, I'm still gonna keep going. Like it's like an addiction. It's like even now, like you've helped me out with this, by the way. Waking up at like 4:45 and just getting
Just
in the
like
gym.
is that Jocko over there?
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I used to sleep until like 10 a.m. and
I
but
was
like
up at 4:45 this morning.
Yeah. No, we're
yeah,
talking-
no, I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. You're in the gym. What's that book you're reading right now?
Emmett Fox, Daily Reader, and it's got a writing for every day, and I've been through it many times.
Yeah.
I've had it for a long time.
We all gotta purchase that.
Yeah.
Checking out some of the
Yeah.
books.
Now, did spirituality play a big part in you being able to get out of the shit that you were in? Or was it more so having a
It
good...
did not play a big part. It was everything.
Yeah.
There was nothing else.
Yeah.
It started there. And, because addiction, I think, is misunderstood. And addiction, a lot of people would look at me and look at others like me and say, oh, he's got a heroin problem.
Right.
And what people really didn't understand, and what I didn't understand, most importantly, was that I had a soul problem. I had a me problem. Heroin was just a great solution.
Right.
You took heroin away from me, and I'm as uncomfortable and fucking crazy as I've ever been.
Right.
Catch me on a bag of dope, and I'm having a great time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The problem is when I didn't have heroin. So
Right.
how do I adjust to that? And spirituality was the fix for that for me.
Yeah, I think that was when we were talking
Yeah.
about it, and we mentioned that. That's what hit it for me too, because spiritual in ourselves too.
Yeah,
And it's encouraging hearing that and refreshing, because not a lot
Do
of
you know
people
what's-
will admit
It's
it.
not talked about enough.
Do you know, well, that's what I was just going to get to.
Yeah.
So, I make this decision in like, dude, I know who I am, but I'm such a weird mixture of like, I've been through fucking hell and back. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the spiritual guy.
Yeah,
like all these
right.
different identities. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll fucking kill you, but let's drink. You know what I mean? Like all this shit. And so, like, how do you finding my voice in a personal brand in hitting across all these verticals was tough. At first I was very heavy on entrepreneurship because it is a strong side of who I am, but it's not an all-inclusive picture of who I am.
Right.
And so the jet, the car, the house, the business, the tactical business advice,
Right.
all of that's cool. More recently, I started going, this is such a large part of myself. Like, and I think that I hadn't been sharing it with Instagram and whatever because it's so personal to me.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, it's so personal to me, but fucking why not? And so I just started going all in and sharing more stuff about spirituality and personal development, transformation, and just real authentic stuff that has worked for me and that I practice and I believe in. And the response has been enormous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's actually
because people
very encouraging.
I feel like it's more refreshing to most people, like actually seeing someone like yourself that's been through some stuff like that and not afraid to talk about certain stuff like that you know is
Well, that's what it
frowned
was.
upon.
I shied away from the God idea publicly for a long time, but I owe all of this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then I
100%.
stood in front of that and I was like, well, fuck, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, hey, thanks, buddy, but get in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome back then.
Hey, look at me, you know? And so, more recently, I've just started to put all of it together. And it changes. Like yesterday, I was in here, I was on my story yesterday talking about real estate. You can see on the whiteboard, like, I was literally, that's what I was doing. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You catch me in the morning, we're coming out of prayer, meditation, reflection, reading, visualization, manifestation, my whole process. I'm heavy on that. And so it's
But all that shit combined is part of the game, man. Like entrepreneurship. Like if I'm out of shape today, here and also mentally, like you're not going to be 100. And you all, as a CEO, you got to be 100 every fucking day. So like that's why I thank you for sharing all that stuff because it's more than just the meeting.
It's encouraging to me that you guys find value in that.
You really do,
It's huge.
Yeah.
Keep doing that.
I literally since you've been putting out content about that, I've been all my DMs. I do these stupid morning alarms, which is rhyming like glutes for charcutes, and just for whatever reason, people gravitate towards it. So my DMs are no joke. I'm playing Dr. Phil as like divorce court. He cheated, she cheated. The D1 athlete that didn't go pro, so now works a sales job and is depressed. Like addiction, and before it's my non-licensed ass as a doctor, messaging back just what has helped me.
Yeah.
I've no joke copied and pasted so many pieces of your content
Appreciate that.
from TikTok and Instagram,
Yeah.
and I'm like, boom, this is it. Here's your unlock. So,
You gotta give them 20%.
Yeah. I'll check with Lori on that. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean any of that. That was a lie.
It's been a journey, and there have just been so many lessons that have forced me to grow. And I guess at any point you could choose to not and plateau and go like, I'm going to stay right where I'm at.
Yeah.
Salem, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But back to the adversity, like the stuff that makes it in there is like every single one of those lessons came during a tough time, not a good one.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was never out on my yacht in Miami. The sun's out, it's 87 degrees, and decided to grow spiritually today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right,
It's like I got life put a gun to my head,
Right.
and I was like, fuck! I gotta figure this out,
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Are there any practices that you have? You've been through hell and back. And it's made you tougher, and you are today. But are there any practices like when you're in it, like when you're in the grind with Spofford Enterprises, and like a tough day happens or a deal didn't go as planned? Like, are there any little things that you do and routine wise that help you get through it, or like, and more specifically, like in when you're in it?
I think two things come to top of mind on that. One is I overvalue action. I never stop moving. I start throwing punches, and maybe not all of them are going to hit, but like, motherfucker, I'm in the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I really just, I never stop moving. I never get in the fetal position. You're never going to knock me down and keep me there. Like, I'm getting up and I'm coming out of this corner. That's it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I shrug off the hits that I take very easily. A lot of times people's pride and ego and embarrassment,
It'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
it'll kill you.
Yeah.
Because it's not the punch in the face that hurts.
Yep.
Getting punched in the face sucks. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah.
Getting punched in the face in front of other people
Yeah.
sucks a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Like, you're in the
Yeah.
schoolyard, you get
Yeah.
punched in the face, nobody saw it, you're like,
Yeah.
what shit?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
The whole place saw the thing.
Like,
You're like,
fuck.
fuck.
Done.
That's killer. Like, that's killer.
Yeah.
And so but that is just humility.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That is just being able to move through it with ease and fail in front of people and fail in front of your team and take your punch and get back up and just keep moving.
You got
Yeah.
it. Yeah. That's,
You know?
Yeah.
I love it.
Literally in our office
Yeah.
when you walk in, the new one in Portsmouth, it says "keep going"
Yeah.
when you walk
Keep
in.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love
that's
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Like
because if you don't like, this is always in the back of my head. But like, if we stop, he's not gonna eat at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at least for me, like I can tell your relationship with Lori and everything. Like they're not they're my like
These are
family.
my
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it is my
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
dogs. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Like,
take
what's
a pull.
What's
yeah.
the what else are we gonna do? Fucking give up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Which I guess some people,
Some people do though. Some
do.
people,
Yeah.
and they get close to. I've seen it happen, and they just
Yeah, or it keeps them out of the fight altogether,
yeah,
or it keeps them out of the next level of the fight. They'll
Yeah.
only take it so far.
Yeah.
yep,
You know.
yep.
Almost as if people are scared to achieve, you know? Like scared
Well,
of greatness.
I mean, that's a good topic
Yeah.
because success and greatness comes with a price.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to change your life.
Right.
And how it's going to change your life in many ways, but one of them is it's going to change your relationships with everyone that you came to it with. They're all going to change.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And a lot of people can't stomach that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to. And frankly, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to see your entire world fucking change? Go make $100 million publicly.
Yeah.
Puts a lot of stress on relationships. Takes a lot of character and a lot of heart for your friends to stand next to you and not have jealousy and envy. It's going to weed a lot of those fucking
Or ask
people
for
out.
something.
Yeah.
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 You know?
Yeah.
Or feel entitled and deserving too.
Yep.
You know? And then it's like, yeah, I don't mind helping you out, but like,
But damn.
why are
changes
you acting
the-
like I owe it to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
100%.
How the fuck do I owe you
Yeah.
anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I
Big
mean?
time.
And so that's another example of adversity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The betrayal, the changed relationships. You know, you
Big
blow
time.
up on fucking TikTok. All
Right.
of a sudden, you got all this attention. You
Right.
know, I haven't seen you in probably 10 years.
Right.
I'm guessing that there are probably people that are like, "Oh, Kevin changed."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
It's
know what I
weird. Yeah, I find it's weird with friends. It's even more weird with some of your family. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just a weird. You're
Yeah.
doing all this really cool, once in a lifetime, moments. I always try to bring them along and stuff, but just it's. I notice how fast the conversation stops when you say like, "Oh," when they ask how are you doing, you're like,
Yeah.
"Things are great." You know? It's like they're like, "Oh, all right, well,
pretty good
cool."
right
now.
Whereas if you were like, "Oh,
That didn't actually mean.
yeah."
Like good would have been fine.
Yeah, get over it. I'm like, sorry.
Going in too much.
Whereas if you said like, "Oh, I got car trouble and I'm going through this," now the conversation's like,
But you need the OGs around you because they keep you grounded. Even like first time I met you two, he was saying something. He's the most humble dude on the
Yeah.
He-
It's because we
Everyone
were in a
cares.
fancy restaurant and Colin's never seen the guy with a lint roller in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But Colin always gives him shit. Yeah.
he's
Don't
going
go.
all
He goes,
out.
don't go Hollywood on me. You know, like.
What about the anxiety when you walk into the bathroom and you realize it has the attendee and he's got the cologne and the gum and the lint roller?
You
You don't even smoke
you
cigarettes.
don't
Like,
How'd you
I
grab
don't
one
have
anyway?
any cash
You
on
don't
me.
have any
And you're
cash
taking
on
a
you.
piss, and
It's
your
so
mind's like,
fucking
you
off.
fucking loser. Like, this guy's gonna
why.
fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Like, he's about to
Yeah.
wash your hands for you.
Dude, I was just.
That's the worst. I hate those.
Dude, I was in. That literally just
Why
happened
is
to me.
this guy gonna be here?
Yeah.
You know?
I take credit too.
I was at
I'm like,
Kiki on the river, like last week, and I walk in there, dude. This guy has everything, like
Yeah.
every fucking.
Come out of there with a pack of
You could
Newports you don't
imagine.
even smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, why do I have
like A-list gum, you know, and I got zero cash on me.
Yeah.
He gave me this death stare, man, when I
Yeah,
walked out of there.
because
So-
you know he set all that up.
Oh, yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
the funny
just
thing
for
is,
you.
though, is now going to like nicer
Exactly.
places like
Oh,
that.
dude.
That's
Crazy.
the worst. I wonder if they feel it on their side. They gotta be like, wow, I'm in here.
Am I lint rolling this
hours.
place back?
Yeah. I'm hearing all kinds of sounds coming
Yeah,
from cell
right.
3 back there. You know?
But imagine that being your job. Just
Right.
like, put on a suit to go stand in a bathroom
Yeah,
and
that's
wash guys' hands.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that's wild.
It's a
That
tough
is.
one.
better at Kiki than the strip club, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I
You know,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one of the things you talked about. You said something about having the people around you,
Yep.
the OGs or whatever.
Yep.
I think that you need 3 buckets of people. This is how I categorize
Cam
it.
Newton talked about something very similar.
Who?
Cam Newton,
I don't even know who that is.
from the Panthers, who's just the Patriots quarterback.
I don't know. I wish I
Yeah.
followed sports. Yeah, I'm working when you guys are watching.
Some of us have to work.
You got to keep people that are further ahead around you. The people who are intuitively never going to be jealous or envious typically are people that are further ahead, and they can add an immense amount of value to your life. Your teachers, right?
Right.
And so, keeping this group of mentors and people that, have just accomplished a lot, you look up to them in business or who they've developed to be as a person. It doesn't have to be all money. It could be any area of their life that they're just like, fuck, I admire
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
Like, who do you admire? Hang out with them.
Yeah. Right.
But then you need like your road dogs. You
Right.
need your
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
But these people, this is a tough group of people, but sometimes it changes because they have to be your peers. And sometimes your peer class changes. The people you grew up with, you've known your whole life, but when you aspire to different things and you want success and you want greatness and you want more for yourself, sometimes they don't come with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you need, you love them and
Right.
told them, I'm not saying like tell them to fuck off,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like you need these people that are on the journey with you.
Right.
Yep.
They're your peers. Then, for me, I believe in this. I believe that you really need the people that you're helping. That you constantly have to be reaching back
like
as
that.
well.
Yeah.
And so, because although you're reaching forward to people that you admire
Yeah.
and taking that in, there's all these people that are fucking looking up to you that admire you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so reaching
right.
back to them. And it just makes it kind of this, I have this vision of like it being full circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Big
Yeah.
time.
And it
Big
brings
time.
purpose to it.
Big
you
time.
know? It
Yeah.
makes it more than just selfishly what we want.
Yeah.
Makes it about other people.
And there's always so much room at the table.
Yeah,
It's like
100%.
everyone can eat.
And it goes back to
All
that,
my-
show
all
me
my-
your friends, I'll show you your future kind of thing.
Yeah.
By keeping the right
Huge.
people
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah. Big
It's
time.
huge.
Yeah.
It's probably, in my opinion, one of the most impactful things that one could possibly do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, like, if you put a gun to my head and said, give the most practical advice to someone you possibly can, it's look at that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why you see me
Yeah.
hanging out all the time with Randy and Scott.
Yeah,
I learned
yep.
something a lot of
Yeah,
my friends over the
100%.
past 2 years, like my friend group's a lot older. than I am, and I try surrounding myself, and I learn something new every time. They might not know it, but it provides a lot of value. And then I've taken a big risk with not big risk, but they say doing business with your friends is tough. And I've seen the ugly side of that. But my CMO is my one of my college roommates. My CFO was the first person I met at Babson. My head of production is my dog, but he's also an older, more wisdom in that space, and it's a very family atmosphere. But it keeps that passion going, because when we win, it's the best fucking feeling ever.
100%.
I
want to wrap with this for you. What are the 3 top things for success and business? So success kind of outside of just your regular life, and 3 most important things with running a business.
3 most important things: success, business, just generally. 1, it's an inside job first. So many people try to skip ahead of the line and skip the process and skip developing the internal assets that are necessary. I think my wish for people is that they understand that your external reality is always a reflection of your internal state of being. And so you develop that internally, and it extrudes externally.
Right.
Always.
Right.
People try to do the opposite. They try to develop externally to influence and treat their internal condition.
Right.
And if I had, or when I have, I'll feel. And it's not that way. It's the exact opposite.
Wow, I like that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
2,
That's really good.
the journey is not easy, and so it's action over anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's discipline, it's framework, and it's over a long time horizon. That sure, there are overnight successes, but generally the majority of people that achieve their dreams, that get to alignment with the greatness that they're supposed to experience, which I believe that for everybody, it takes a lot longer than they think it's going to.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot more sacrifice than they believe it's going to.
Right.
And it's a lot harder than they think it's going to be. The adversity is real.
Right.
And 3 is you have to find your why. It has to be the right why.
Right.
Right?
Right.
For me, it started out and remains true that I just want to help people like me.
Yeah.
This thing almost killed me.
Yeah. Right.
I watched all my friends die right here in Salem, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Watched them all go. Fentanyl, heroin, took them all out. And I wanted to prevent that for as many people as I possibly could.
Yep.
That was my why then. It's still my why. The why has expanded. If you were to ask me right now, what am I doing? This is 3 and 3.5 together.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. The other important thing that goes with this is that to have the audacity to think big and dream big. And not just to think it, but to speak that shit into existence.
Yeah.
At every level, right before I popped into the next level, at every level up that I've had over the last 16 years, I spoke it out loud to people, and they fucking looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep.
They looked at me like I was nuts. I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yep.
I'm going to build the largest collection of addiction treatment centers in the Northeast, and I'm going to touch thousands of lives every year. They're like, Eric, your credit score is a 582. I'm like, I know.
Dude, you have to have
you have to fucking visualize it. But you have to have a why.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it has to be my why. It just has to be a meaningful fucking why.
Right.
I'll speak it out loud today, brazenly. I am on a mission to create a net worth of $1 billion and positively impact millions of people in and out of recovery from addiction and mental health issues.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do I want to be a billionaire?
Yeah.
Why? I have plenty of dough now.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't change that much.
Right.
I want to be the first 10th grade dropout heroin addict. to ever hit that number.
Yeah.
Not because, like, you know, I mean, it's cool. I'm not saying being a billionaire probably isn't going to be a unique experience for me personally, but imagine when I can fucking say that out loud, and other people are getting sober, being like, "Let me get this straight."
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
This motherfucker don't have a GED and was shooting smack at 15 years old.
Right.
And look at him now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that.
And so that's why.
Yep.
And so when people see me in the hustle, in the grind, they can get it twisted.
Right.
Be like, oh, he's driven by money and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, which, you know, we all are to a certain degree, but the why is I want to be the first one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's about other people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you got to
That's
get
my-
damn close, huh? The
No.
up the mountain.
No, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
It's a 25-year plan.
Isn't he so humble?
I'm on my way, but you know, it's that's my 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my 3.5.
God bless you, man.
We can't thank you enough for your time.
Same,
Yeah,
same,
thank you.
thank you
Great to
so much.
see you.
Best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.